Welcome viewers in our Learning for Knowledge YouTube channel. Today we will describe two important parameters which are used in the pre-treatment processes, and these two parameters tell us whether we need pre-treatment or we can directly feed the water for reverse osmosis process for treatment. These two parameters are known as silt density index, abbreviated as SDI, and turbidity. We will describe these two parameters and their importance in the water treatment process. Density and turbidity. These are two important parameters used in the deciding the role of pre-treatment in the reverse osmosis process. So basically, to evaluate water's fouling propensity in reverse osmosis system, that is water's potential to form a fouling less or more, it is important to assess water quality by analysis, and these parameters which need to be analyzed are pH, dissolved oxygen, silt density index, which is abbreviated as SDI, turbidity, particles, iron, and total organic carbon. When we analyze these parameters, some of these parameters tells us whether this water will create some fouling or scaling in on the membranes, or it is better to use directly and it will create less problem regarding fouling and scaling. So we will discuss basically these things in this videos. Now, to assess the water fouling potential of membrane system, membrane manufacturer emphasize and put a lot of emphasis on the silt density index SDI measurement, and they have provided some important values of SDI. Now, silt density index SDI is a water quality parameter used to describe the fouling potential of water, and also it is regarded as an important feed water quality guideline for pre-treatment. That is, if whether we need pre-treatment and what type of pre-treatment we required for RO system, then we have to measure this SDI of the feed water. The value of SDI will tell that whether we need pre-treatment, one-step pre-treatment, or some special pre-treatment is required to control this SDI. Now, the lower the SDI, the lower the potential for fouling a membrane with suspended solids. This is basically, you can say, one of the thumb rule. As SDI going down, the potential of fouling and scaling also going down on the membrane. So basically, silt density index SDI is a parameter representative of the fouling tendency of water toward RO membrane. So it is also called as colloid index Ki or the fouling index Fi. Normally SDI or fouling index is used for this parameter. The SDI measurement is basically based on an ASTM standard D4189. This standard describes how to measure the SDI, and I will also describe this measurement process in this video. So basically what happened, or what we are going to do in the measurement of this SDI. This SDI measures the rate at which our 0.45 micron membrane filter is plugged when the water is passed through the membrane filter, and keeping the pressure constant at the value of 30 psig or 207 kPa kilopascal. This pressure will be kept constant during the analysis or during the measurement of SDI. This is the filter paper used, which have a 0.45 micron diameter hole size, and the bigger size of particle which have size 0.45, greater than 0.45, they will stop on the surface of this filter paper, and this is the holder. On this holder we will put this filter paper on this holder and then fix it in this assembly, and then used in the process of measuring SDI. This is the complete setup or schematic diagram of SDI measurement. We need a graduated cylinder If we are using for 500 milliliter of water, then it must graduate or can easily read 500 ml, or if we are using for 100 ml, then it have a graduation of 100 ml. Stopwatch. Then in this assembly, this is a valve used to regulate the water flow. Then there is a pressure regulator which shows the pressure, and we have to keep the pressure gauge at 30 psi. And there is a filter holder which I show you on the previous uh, page. This filter holder is placed, which has this filter paper, and filter paper size is 0.5 micron. Pore size 5.45 micron and 47 mm dia. So sill density index test apparatus and its ancillary equipment which are used in the measurement of SDI. So what we are going to measure, SDI is the drop in permeate flux per minute through the filter. That when the pores are going to clog or plug, then the flow of water reduce, and we will measure this by dropping in the permeate flux per unit time or per minute through the filter, and it is averaged over a period of time. If we are going to measure in 15 minutes, then this is called SDI 15, and total time for this experiment will be 15 minutes. If we use 5 minutes, then we say SDI 5 or 10. So normally 15-minute time is used, but we can also use 5 or 10 depending upon the water quality. The procedure is same, only total time interval will be changed. So I explain here only for 15 minutes. The SDI 15 value for a 500 milliliter sample during a period of 15 minutes, that is, we will allow the water flow for 15 minutes at a pressure of 30 psi, is measured with the kit which I showed you earlier, and the formula used is SDI is equal to 100 into 1 minus Ti over Tf, and the whole is divided by T and capital T. Now here Ti is the time to collect first 500 ml of the sample, that is how much time it will take when we start the experiment, and we note that time when the 500 milliliter of the water pass through that filter. We will note that time. Then we will allow the water to pass through for 15 minutes, and then we measure the final time, that is Tf. So Tf is the time to collect final 500 ml sample, and T capital T is total run time 15 minutes. If we do this experiment for 10 minutes, then total run time will be 10, and we use here 10. And if we use 5 minutes, then this is 5. This is the formula which is used to measure the SDI. And the procedure for this is that first we open the ball valve and set the pressure at 30 psig before the start of the experiment. When we set the pressure at 30 psig, then immediately start recording the time to collect a 500 milliliter sample of the water through the filter, and record this time as Ti. After that, we will noting this time when we collect the 500 ml of sample, then we will allow the feed water to pass through that filter continuously, and whenever the pressure changes from 30, we will adjust with the help of needle valve, which is available on the kit. And then after 15 minutes, at the end of 15 minutes, record the time it takes to collect another 500 milliliter sample through the filter, and record this time as Tf. Now remember, at the beginning of time, 500 milliliter of the sample will be collected in shorter period of time, because there is no clogging of the filter. But after 15 minutes, the small size, you can say that the particles which are now stop on the surface of the filter, they will block some of the holes of the filter paper. So at the end of the 15 minutes, when we will collect 500 ml sample, it will take longer time to collect this 500 due to clogging of the filter paper. And after finding out this thing, we will use this formula SDI, and we know Ti at the beginning, and then Tf, and the total time T15. and in this way we will find the SDI value. Now, feed SDI usually should be consistently less than 5 or less than 3. This is normally recommended by the membrane manufacturer. If it is greater than 5, the water will clog or foul the membrane very quickly, and also it will damage the membrane. So it is normally tried to keep the value at least less than 5, and it is better if we can achieve SDI value of less than 3. So normally if SDI of the feed water is less than 3, no pre-filtration is necessary. We can run without any pre-filtration and just put a cartridge filter before the entrance of reverse osmosis membrane. No carbon sand or multimedia filters are required. No UF or MF are required. However, if SDI is between 3 to 5 of the feed water, a media like sand type filter is required. And if SDI goes greater than 5, a two-stage media filtration is possible, possibly with the aid of coagulants or a settling tanks. So that the suspended particle which can be easily or which can be reduced with the help of subcoagulants, and there must be some settling tank which settle those and it reduce its SDI, because SDI silt density index basically measuring those particles which are suspended and in the form of colloidal, and they need to be removed before entering into reverse osmosis. So this is basically the scheme based on SDI values. That is, if 3 very good water, 3 to 5 we need a slightly pre-treatment, and if it is for greater than 5 we have 2-stage and very efficient pre-treatment system required. Now these are the filter papers which are obtained during test of someone else who performed these tests. I took from them. Filter papers of SDI test. This is clean. This is partially, you can say, less. It has some SDI value, and this is a completely fouled filter paper, and this is another example of this. So you can easily visually check the fouling tendency or scaling tendency of the water using this test. You can see the clear difference in these 3 small filter papers. Very good water, medium quality, and this is worse with respect to reverse osmosis membrane fouling aspect. This is another type test for this. So a filter, what these filter papers are telling now, a visual confirmation about the efficacy of the filter process of RO influent water. So we can check with the help of this test whether our pre-filtration or pre-treatment system is working properly or not. This is the visual phenomena, and can be analyzed to determine the nature of the deposit, and the deposits which are collected on the surface of this filter paper, we can analyze these and found what are the particle, what type of material is coming and stopping this filter paper or blocking this. So we can find out the nature of the deposits. These are the advantage of this test. And sometimes there are some colors, specific colors are appear on the filter paper. So if the color of the foulant are yellow, possibly iron or organic, this is the indication. So we can, you can say, assume, or we can get some guidance from this color, that what these color are telling, not specifically, but to reach a nearby conclusion to that. Then red to reddish brown, if color is red to reddish brown, then it is definitely iron. And black, then manganese. And if the color dissolve when the pad is treated with the acid, if the color dissolve and vanish when we treat this filter paper with the acid, if this is dissolved, then this is definitely a manganese. So these are some indication of the colors showing that what type, some of the type of, not all, but some of the type of foulants present in the water. Now we come towards the turbidity. So what is turbidity? Turbidity is a measure of the total amount of suspended colloidal particles in the given sample, irrespective of their type. The colloidal particles basically reflect the light and we find the turbidity. So the turbidity level of a raw water was measured with a turbidity meter, very famous, using the nephelometric light method. This is a method in which light is may fall on the sample, and its whether light passes, if water is completely transparent, no colloidal, it will completely pass through it. But as is colloidal suspended particles are increasing, light will not pass through the sample and it will reflect back, and we measure the intensity of the light. So in this way turbidity is measured. In general, the higher the turbidity, the higher the SDI value in general. However, the sill density index along with turbidity is used to measure the potential for fouling with colloids and other suspended solids. However, there is advantage of SDI over turbidity. Someone asked that when we are going to measure the turbidity and it tells us about the colloidals or colloidal particles present in the feed water, then why we are going ahead one step and finding sill density index? The reason is that SDI can be used on relatively low turbidity when there is less than 1 NTU water and is a finer measure of suspended solid and colloidals in the water. Sometimes when turbidity is very low and it is difficult to measure, especially when its value is less than 1 or 0.5, then we assume that this water is very good. But when we will perform the sill density index test, it will tell us about the real scenario of or real condition of the water regarding fouling mechanism or fouling. So however, with the very low turbidity less than 1 or 0.5 NTU still causes unacceptable membrane fouling. It was happened at some plants that they have turbidity level of less than 1 or 0.5, but they still face drastic fouling on the membrane. Many particles having very small diameter which do not efficiently reflect light to show up as higher turbidity, because the particle size is so small that the light, when we fall the light on the sample, these particles cannot reflect the light, and so it is difficult to measure the turbidity. These small particles can quickly foul spiral wound RO membrane. That's why we go one step ahead and find the SDI to further confirm whether there are some foulants present or not. Now there is a lot of advantages of SDI, but there is slightly, or you can say, one or two disadvantages or drawback, we cannot say disadvantage, drawback of SDI measurement. What are these? The SDI measurement basically a useful indicator with respect to the fouling potential of the water. However, this index does not provide any information regarding the nature of the foulants passing through a 0.45 millimeter micron membrane, 0.45 micron membrane, and the risk of biofouling, the membrane that is filter paper, and it has a limited capability in measuring fouling potential due to other foulants such as colloidal deposition and organic adsorption. So we cannot know that due to foulants which are passing through that, and what type of those colloidal depositions and organic adsorption which pass through those filter paper. So this is a small drawback of using SDI, and that's why this fouling index is further changed and modified and get another type of index which is known as modified fouling index, MFI. Maybe we will describe that in the coming or in the coming videos in this series. So I hope you learn about this, and then if you have any question or any question about these SDI measurement and SDI values, you can ask and through comments of this video. So see you next time in another video which is very definitely related with the water treatment and other aspects. Thank you very much.